So, we talked about noiseless, odorless, and green, and now, thanks to Maple Reinders and the team, we've got something that's going to look amazing. It will, in fact, be a tourist attraction. And I guess that's important to what all of you folks are curious about, that really, by doing this right downtown, I don't think we mentioned, there's 3 sides have houses, and the 4th has a nature marsh, duck pond, if you will. And so again, keeping this, not having any impact on that was critical. Treating to the highest levels, again, I can't understand in this day and age why we wouldn't. You know, Paul mentioned the difference in cost, and yes, it's a number to be dealt with, but it's the right thing to do, and it's the right thing for future generations. Everybody can read. What we did, and I'm very proud of this. We started by saying we've got to do it right. We're going to do it in focusing on the benefits to the community. We'll figure out the costs as they come in. We took, I can speak to the politicians, we took strong control of this process. And it wasn't a case of going to a meeting once a month and saying, how's it going? We had a project steering committee with 3 members of council on it. These members of council were very actively involved, as were people like Paul at the time was a volunteer, and several other members of our community. And we did say we're going to do this and we're going to do it right. There, we like this phrase. We were prepared to think outside the plant. And again, I can't emphasize this enough, the willingness to not just embrace, well, this is how they did it down the street, or this is the only way to do it because that's how it's been done for the last 5 years or 10 years. Frankly, we said, no, that's not good enough. We were very, very clear, and Paul referenced our RFP process, and I'm jumping ahead, but Judith, your question you're going to ask us, the single biggest thing we did was we took office in December, I guess technically, of 2011, and we spent the next 10 months working beyond hard, all of the project steering committee and council to get the RFP done. From there, we were able to hand it over to the people you're going to hear from in a few minutes. But that was the genius looking back, that we committed ourselves to it and we went out and did it. And the last piece, and this talks about the widest latitude, I just want to remark, and this is something we've seen a lot, and I've heard certainly in some of the stuff you folks are dealing with. I'm not a technical expert. We were talking just beforehand. If I was having some problem with my chest and somebody came up and said, I think it might be indigestion. Well, I'm not going to take particularly a politician's view on that. I might just want to go and talk to an expert. And I think all too often the technical issues of this sort of, and it's a very complex industry, but the technical issues are being addressed by people who haven't got the information yet. And they're dealing from emotions, and they're certainly dealing from fear. Some of our neighbors that we referenced earlier were they were panic-stricken that we were going to ruin the value of their homes. And I understand that. Innovation's sometimes a scary thing. I'm happy to say there was a house sold a couple of months ago right across the street. It sold for an essentially for the asking price within 30 days. So I think now that the facility is physically up, people are starting to see that it's not something to be afraid of. But I don't want to downplay. There was real fear, and we took heat for it for a couple of years. Having said that, we're now, we're ending good. So I think there. Anybody find a wastewater plant in that picture? There it is. This building will be demolished shortly. All of this is, of course, construction. This is the control area. I think Paul referenced people coming up. This is a big piece of glass now, and you can look in and see all the filters. And this, of course, will have all the plants in it. And here's the house that just sold. So we'll turn all of this and all around here into park, and that will integrate right into the duck pond. And when you want to come and visit in, when? Dawn? May next year, maybe? Will the plants be growing by then?
They will.
Yeah. So this is a picture, I think, taken in France, where they've got several facilities. The technology is used throughout Europe. It's in China, in a couple of facilities as well. But this is, we believe, a high school tour, coming to understand how plants grow and how the system works. And I think that's probably the best way to end. If you get kids coming in to see how we're treating the wastewater, that's a pretty good definition of success. So thank you very much. Judith, I think we'll turn it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.